Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to our Sunday morning class with Guy Finley. My name is John. I'm the host for today. So, good morning to those students here in Southern Oregon in our small classroom here joining me. Good afternoon to the students who are in Florida with Guy. Glad you're here with us, and welcome to all of you around the world who are joining us for today's session. Again, it is always good that we take this time together to learn something new with Guy. In a moment, we'll begin our class. If you are new here, the agenda for our classes is that Guy will present a talk that will last about 60 minutes on the topic that I'll introduce in just a second. After he's finished with his talk, we'll take about a 5-minute break just to stretch our legs, get a new cup of coffee if necessary, and then come back for an open dialogue with Guy, a chance for you to talk directly to Guy if you wish, or send in written questions and to pursue and deepen our understanding of the material that Guy has presented today. So our sessions typically last about an hour and a half. And if for some reason you can't stay for the entire session, we do record these sessions, and they are archived and available on all of our platforms on which they're broadcast. So you can come back and watch the rest of it if you need to at any time at your convenience. Well, with that said, let's get started. We'll bring Guy on and begin today. Good morning, Guy.
Hello, John.
Good morning. Would you like me to read the topic and key lesson for you?
Please.
All right, very well. Here is our topic this morning, everyone. One simple practice to help you be at peace with who you are. And here is our key lesson. Don't look back, nor ahead. Peace can't be made, let alone seen with eyes blinded by time. Patience and conscious suffering travel in unseen lockstep, together or not at all. Only the foolish look for one and away from the other. All right, Guy, turn it over to you.
Just taking a moment to allow what is written that's true to sink into its intended place. I hope you do the same. Our subject is really a simple one today, and yet we have to go a long way to be able to see how it doesn't just apply to our life, but what we need to understand in order to apply it. How many of you can honestly say, and that is a bit of a challenge, that you're at peace with yourself? Well, I'm at peace when I'm eating pizza. I'm at peace when the weather is right. I'm at peace when you look at me and smile. I'm at peace when there is more money in my account than is going out that day. I'm at peace when I have an epiphany. But almost anything can interrupt that peace. In fact, most of the time that peace is interrupted not just by people and problems that seem to come into my day, but by my own thoughts that find some reason to be dissatisfied with where I am, what I am, and the experience I have as I am. So what I want to look at deeply with you is this idea. Is it possible to be at peace with myself? Because most of us, and I'll set the stage with a quick story. Here's a young woman, and she goes to see a teacher known to be somewhat awake. And she says something along the lines, I don't know what to do at this point. She said, I realize I'm not exactly an old aspirant, but I feel old because I've expired all of these possibilities. I've meditated, I've medicated, I have educated, I have dedicated myself to all of these things, and no matter what I do, I sounded like Katharine Hepburn for a moment. And no matter what I do, I just can't be at peace with myself. I have the benefit of this, that, and the other, maybe more than most in the world. That's probably likely. And yet I find myself lashed to the mast of moments that I don't want to be in. And I will help you remember for a few moments what we spoke of yesterday about Odysseus and why it was that he agreed to be lashed to that mast. So she says, "Can you help me?" And he says, "Of course I can." He said, "But you have to want to receive what I give you, because if you don't, then there's no point in me helping you see the things that you've asked me to see." So at that point he said, "Let me share with you a key lesson. Number 2 key lesson, to be exact." Let me know when it's up. He said to her, "A mind in pieces seeks peace in pieces, which is why it can't find it." A mind in pieces seeks peace in pieces, which is why it can't find it. You don't understand, and I know how hard it is, because when the moment comes when it's possible to learn what you need to learn, everything in you has turned you in a different direction. But our mind doesn't see. Basically, let's just say the teacher goes on to tell this young woman, there's no moment when you aren't being shown when, where, how, and why you're experiencing what you are. Remember that in school, when, where, how, and why? He said, but our mind doesn't see when, where, how, and why all at the same time. It sees when it doesn't like. It sees where the problem is that's causing how it doesn't want to feel. Then it experiences how it needs to deal with that in order to free itself from the experience it doesn't want. And then it starts asking, why is this going on? And then it answers for itself why, when, where, and how all that's going on. But it does it one piece at a time. So the whole mind is never engaged. The whole mind never sees. And only a whole mind can see. But we have an experience of being whole when we fully resist some condition that our own mind points to as being the source of our pain. Then we feel like we see the whole thing. Don't you feel like when you're negative, aren't you sure you see the whole thing? When you don't want to look at a moment, aren't you sure you see the whole moment and why you can't face it or what needs to be done, how you should face it? If you're thinking about how to face a moment outside of the exceptional practical one, you're lost. And that's all we know how to do, which is the point of this talk right now. So let's get into it, he said to her, and I say to you. Shall we get into it? Are you willing to get into it? What if you get into it and you don't want to, and then you want to get out of it? There is something in this conditioned nature of ours, and I'm asking you to see this. Don't believe me. That no matter what it gains, no matter what has access to some new time or some new place, arrived at by having rushed to get there, and it rushes to get there because it imagines when it gets there, whatever has disturbed it where it is won't be there. That's what it imagines, a place where what's bugging it won't be able to tag along. And so it's always trying to get to some place where some piece that it's imagined is sitting there going, so glad you got here, Guy. We've been waiting for you. But the fact of the matter is, and I'm asking you to see it, no sooner do you get to that place that you rushed to get to, then you find out that whatever it is you were rushing to get away from followed you there. But you don't think to yourself something followed you there. You think there's something new there to bug you equally the way the first place did. And I want you to understand that's always a lie. You are not encountering new problems. Maybe you ought to write that down. How many of you are sure I'm always running into a new problem? Isn't that so? That's very convenient when you have to then go find the place where you don't have problems anymore. So this false nature, and I'll get to that, this legion, this unconscious nature filled with the sirens that Odysseus was willing to meet, it survives on sensation born of bearing the pain of some need, of something that needs to be handled, so that then, in one way or another, it can make it through to the other side of that particular problem. Are we not always trying to get to the other side of the road? I was going to make a joke. Why did the chicken cross the road? Because he thought it'd be better on the other side. But what did the chicken find when he got to the other side of the road? Another road. Not KFC. So this self thrives on getting to where it will find what it believes it doesn't have with the experience it's in. Everybody following me? Pretty important. So a big question now, because isn't that what our life does? You know, who do I turn to when nobody loves me? Where do I look? Where is there that I'm looking for? My students here said imagination. In a sense, yes, but I'll get to that. Where is there? There, the where we seek, is always another place just ahead of where we are. That's where there is. It's not where I am, because I want to get away from where I am. So there is where I'm going to get to. And by the way, not just get to, but given where I am now, I need to get away from there fast to get to the new there, where everything that's bugging me where I am won't be there. Do you understand that? So I feel rushed only to get there, so to speak, find out that this anxiety, this fear of missing out, this emptiness, this worry, when I get there, everything I thought I left where I was is there where I am. And when I get to where I am again, having not escaped where I didn't want to be, the next thing my mind do is it comes up with another journey that I have to make to get away from where I am now, because it's not quite as good as it needs to be. So I am never, ever where I am. I'm always moving away from where I am. Are you following me, please? Yeah. And it's compulsive. All the time I hear students talking about this. I can't rest. My mind won't let me do this. I know more to stop here than I've got to start there. And I'm just driving myself crazy. What do I do? I'm telling you today what to do so that you can stop being at war with what you think is life and instead see that your own mind is at war with itself. And it doesn't know that it's at war with itself, and it will continue to be at war with itself until you actually see the nature of this conflict in this unconscious nature. We still, everybody connecting? Mm-hmm. So we live, and I'm asking you to see this, do we not? We live with a kind of constant feeling that I've not yet arrived where I need to be. I wake up in the morning and my mind goes, oh, mother of pearl. Think of all the things you didn't do yesterday because of all the things you were thinking about that needed to get done today. And now yesterday is right here with you. So nothing changed. You're still thinking and still feeling like you got to get through all of this, because if you don't get through it, there's consequences. What will people think? What will I think of myself if I don't get through this to where I need to be so that I can be who I want to be when I get there? A lot of wheres and theirs in case you, I hope I don't wear there out. Never mind. So, in spite of endless failed excursions, you know what an excursion is? In spite of all these excursions, we always basically find ourselves feeling like I have to start this again. And here's the point, because I want to keep this part of it as simple as I can. Now, you have to be honest. I'll be honest with you. Sometimes Patricia and I will be going to a restaurant, and we'll be walking to the front door, and here comes maybe an elderly couple coming up behind me, and my mind says, hurry, get through the door before they do. What kind of mind is that? Do you know that mind? Poor. So the right thing to do is slow down and open the door and let them get the seat you're afraid someone is going to take from you. So people walk too slowly, that's a big problem. Yes? How about when traffic slows you down? What happened? How can traffic slow you down? I'm begging you to see this. How can traffic slow you down? Where are you going? I'm going where I need to get away from the traffic that's slowing me down. Because it's in my way. In your way of what? Where I'm going. Where are you going? Any place but where I am. Because I can't stand where I am because I think the traffic is terrible. So along comes this moment, people too slow walking, somebody, here comes a moment, I've got to deal with this. Why did that have to happen to me? Why do I have to deal with this? And when I'm worried about how to deal with something, what am I really trying to do in my dealings with it? I want to get past that moment that I don't want to deal with. Who said there shouldn't be moments that I have to deal with? Something says, no, Guy, other people have problems. You're not supposed to deal with stuff like this, with people that don't get it. How many of you have problems with people that don't get it? I'm looking at a group of them right now and having a problem with this meeting. Seriously, here I am, and I believe that whatever it is, whatever that moment is, it won't be right until I put it behind me. Isn't it true? I mean, it's so it's so painful. It'll be right when I put it behind me. Why? Because then it's done. And then I can rest from the stress that I feel pushing me to get it over with. So my life is basically a series of moments where I don't particularly want to be where I am. I think I can get ahead of myself because it's ahead of myself that I'm going to find what I'm looking for. Now, who can tell me what the big problem is with that mindset? If you're following me, I'm trying to lay this out as gently as I can. What's the big problem with the idea that I can get ahead of myself? And if I can, then I can bring an end to this feeling that I'm having that I don't want now. So isn't that what, aren't I trying to bring an end to a feeling that I don't want there and then? Yes or no? I'll go slow. So here I am. I'm anxious. I'm worried. I'm stressful. And I don't want this feeling that I'm in right now. Can I get away from that feeling right now, an hour from now? It's not a trick question. I'm feeling this now, but my mind says an hour from now when you're eating that chocolate souffle and people are looking at you and going, my God, you look good today, that somehow I won't be in that kind of pain. Can I get away from the pain I'm in right now, which is what? I don't want to be here. Can I get away from that pain tomorrow? Can I? Is there a tomorrow where I won't be in that pain? You have to ask yourself that question, because the answer is, I guess not. Because every tomorrow brings with it the torment that tomorrow didn't deliver to me to where I needed to be to escape today. Please, do you see it? I'm not doing word tricks. I'm trying to get you to see stuff with me. Are you seeing it? Yeah. So is it possible to bring an end to my experience of this moment later? Well, then what are you doing? Yeah, good question. No, honest, please. What are you doing? If I can't escape, and it isn't possible to escape the experience of myself in the moment, why in the name of God do I believe that there is a time and a place and a situation and a self, whatever it is why do I believe that somehow or other all I have to do is get there? Because when am I anxious? Getting there. What am I afraid of? Not getting there. What do I hope for? Something other than what I found when I got there so I can go through the iteration again. Are you following me? I'm describing the movement of this mind that doesn't understand itself at all. Because if we can begin to understand it, we realize it is impossible to end the way I feel in a time other than where I am as I am right now. So if there is a way to bring an end to what I am experiencing in this moment, it's not later. It has to be with and where and what I am in this moment. You understanding me so far? All right. But something in us continues to believe I can escape this experience of myself in a kingdom, now listen, an important phrase, just on the other side of the conflict that I'm in that moment. On the other side of the conflict that I'm in that moment. Is there an other side to the conflict I'm in? Is there? You'll say no, but push comes to shove. Well, yes, of course there is. And what is the other side of the conflict that I'm in? You. You are the other side of the conflict I'm in. And if I can just change you, fix you, control you, or I know that I've worked with this myself, I just have to rearrange things. Do you know your mind never stops rearranging the moment that you're in? It's extraordinary, but you don't see it. Why? Because I'm identified with the place I'll be in when I finally rearrange your life. When I rearrange this terrible place that I'm in, then I won't be in this terrible place anymore. But that's tomorrow. But where is this terrible place I'm in? Is it the physical place that I'm in? Or is it something in a place in myself that doesn't want the place the way it is because it knows how that place, how that person should be? And so if it can just get away from it, by the way, in a time to come, then in that time to come, I'll experience, listen, what I identify with in myself in that moment as it paints the picture of this new kingdom of peace that I'm finally going to get to. Do you see how crazy you are? Why don't I know this? How? When? Where? Why? All there at the same time, if you're following me. How is it that I feel like this? Because something in me says I shouldn't. Well, when is that going to change? Obviously, a little later when I can rearrange everything. Well, why is it like that? Well, are you kidding me? Just look at the people I live with. Look at the circumstances I have to deal with, the stress that I'm under. Do you not feel stress? Isn't it extraordinary to feel stressed? Our mind is stressed. Stress in the real world strengthens what it stresses. Stress in the psychological world destroys the psyche involved in the unseen resistance to the condition it blames for that pain. So our anxiety basically says, I got to get away. Do you ever run? You know, look, I'm not just talking about running from people. We do that too, but we never quite looked like that. But running, did you ever get a phone call? You ever see the name come up on a phone? And you go, oh no, not today. I can't deal with this today. Yes or no? Kate goes, oh, it's Guy calling. Chrissy goes, oh no. Look, and if you could hit the bumper, the beeper, whatever it says not there, you would do it. Except you know that you're supposed to answer, you're supposed to do your work. But if it's not one of those things, no problem. Just let it ring off the hook. I'm not interested. Why? Because I don't want to deal with the feeling of being stuck in a moment where I can't get away. It's the great getaway. So anxiety tells me when I see the phone number, when I get the text or the email, or I hear some news about my health or whatever it might be, anxiety says something has happened that shouldn't have happened. And then the mind says, when it says something's happened that shouldn't happen, it says, well, that's a simple fix. I'm just going to change the place I'm in so that when I get to the new place, this won't be a problem for me. So my mind comes up with all kinds of solutions, ways in which it deals. Have you ever noticed how your mind deals with stress? I know a big one for most people is, I don't care. Yes or no? I don't care. I'll be showing you I don't care. You can hear it in your own mind. Well, you know what? You might, what about this? No. No sweat on water off my back. What am I actually doing in that moment? First of all, why do I have to say that? And the next thing is, what am I actually saying? I'm saying that it isn't a problem to me because, honestly, I'm just not going to deal with it. Are you not dealing with it when you say, I'm not going to deal with it? So are you actually in a place where you're not dealing with it? Or have you created the illusion of a self whose anxiety is answered by pretending that you're someone who doesn't care about that moment? And the answer is, if you look carefully, you can see it for sure. Anxiety basically says, that's in the wrong place, or, as it happens, I'm in the wrong place. Do you ever feel like you're in the wrong place? Sometimes I feel like that when I'm talking to my students. I'm in the wrong place. Because if I was in the right place, this couldn't be happening to me. After all I've said and done and given all this, and look, I'm in the wrong place. So if I'm in the wrong place, what's the solution? Find the right place. Get rid of everybody that makes the place feel wrong, or whatever it is that's going on in my mind. Whatever's suddenly in my way, I just need to get past it. But what if something entirely different is true? This is what we're looking at. What if something entirely different is true? Because here's the truth. And don't get nervous. We are always in the only place it's possible for us to be. We're always in the only place it's possible for us to be. You can't be in another place. Your mind says, well, of course I can. Well, are you? Not yet. It's coming, or I'm going. Because I can't possibly be in the only place it's possible for me to be. This is so difficult for a conditioned mind to grasp, because this conditioned mind that sees things in segments, piece in pieces, it always can imagine a place it can be other than where it is, which is what it does the moment it starts to experience not wanting to be where it is. It just imagines where it could be, and then it identifies with the image it's made. And as it identifies with the new image, lo and behold, I'm not there anymore. But have I left? Or have I been taken on a trip where the beeswax is in the ears of the crew, and I've blinded and stuck stuff in my ears so I don't feel the song trying to pull me into these waters that I don't know what will happen to me? Please, are you still following me? Now, I had to put this in. I'm not describing what it means to be fatally passive, because that's what people, well, I mean, the only place I can be, might as well just lay down and die. It does not being fatally, meaning purely passive or a fatalistic view. It does not mean that we stop acting intelligently. It doesn't mean that we don't make practical changes as we are capable of doing. But we don't look at a practical change as the path to change my experience of the moment. Do you understand? And that's a big difference, isn't it? It means that we must start realizing the one lesson that leads to being at peace with ourselves and with life. Can we bring up the next key lesson, please, Eric? And I've been intimating this, but now I'm going to hit the nail on the head with a small hammer. There is no other side to the pain we're in, which means we can stop rushing to find it. There's no other side to the pain that I'm in. This nature believes there's another side to the pain that it's producing. So it produces in time something it imagines that in time I will arrive at, and when I do, the pain I'm in, it'll be left behind me. Except there's a problem with that. I've never left the pain behind me. No matter how many times I'm going to get to a passage here in the New Testament in a second. No matter how many times I've risen, steeled myself up, done all the things that I need to do to endure whatever it is that's being asked of me, no matter how many times I've done that, the next moment or the next place ensures I will be doing the same thing again. Afraid, anxious, rushing to get through something that I don't think I'm adequate for or that may prove itself to be greater than my power to deal with. And I'm right back in the same place. You know why I'm in the same place? Who can tell me why I'm in the exact same place? Because I never left it. I mean, this is really quite logical. It's deeply spiritual, but real logic is deeply spiritual because real logic is mathematical and true spirituality ultimately is pure math. No other side to the pain I'm in. Now let's just take a moment. My mind wanted to go into the Music Man. I'm sitting at my desk. I'm in my car. I want to get where I'm going. And I don't want to just get where I'm going. I wanted to be there yesterday. Now, when I wanted to get there yesterday and I'm in the car now, am I a happy camper in my car? Where's happiness? There. Where is there? Boink. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. But by God, I'm going to make it exist. That nature is going to make it exist by producing the anxiety that makes me cut off a car driver, that makes me do something against myself, that makes me hurt another person. What do you think that impatience is about? I want to get to the other side of this pain. Now, repeat after me. There is no other side to the pain that I'm in.
There is no other side to the pain that I'm in.
If that's true, what are you going to do with the pain that you're in?
Watch it.
Well, Michael, what a good answer. Whenever we are in a rush, doing whatever it takes to get ahead of someone, checking out groceries, do you ever notice yourself? I do. I see it all the time. Looking for the shortest line.
Right.
For like 500 years, long before there were grocery stores. Find the quickest way to check out. Let's keep those words in mind. Because every time you're looking to get away from where you are checking out of the moment in which you can see and find the peace that has been so elusive to you. So psychologically, it always feels like there's something in front of me. Please, do you see it? So in moments that are filled with this anxiety, we're coming to another question. What's creating this sense of frustration, the real cause of this rushed sense of myself that can't rest? What is it that's going on inside of me? And I think this is really important. We're identified with a consciousness that always feels like it's behind. Well, I'm not there. How do I know? I'm in pain. So somehow I'm behind where I'm supposed to be. Don't you always feel like you're a little behind? I'm not talking about, you know what? Yeah, I'm behind. More to do, more to see, more to go, want to get this better, need it better. I'm behind. And I've been spending my entire life trying to catch up, haven't you? I've never caught up. And even when I get caught up, somebody calls. Something happens, my own mind says, well, but what about that? Oh my God, you're right, I forgot. Still have to lose that weight. Still need to get that six-pack set of abs or whatever it is. Still need to grow hair. You can't, you're too old. Oh no, I'll get a piece. I'll get some of that stuff they rub all over their face and then I'll grow a hairy face. I'll do anything to get away from what I don't want to see and be in that moment. So if I always feel like I'm behind, yes or no, what am I behind? I feel like I'm behind. What am I? Is there a tree that's behind life? Has life left a tree behind? Don't be so sure. What about a weeping willow? Never mind. No, life can't leave anything behind. Life is in perfect web of reconciling forces. Life can't leave it, but I always feel like I'm behind. And when I feel like I'm behind, what do I have to do? Rush. Why? I'm in danger if I'm behind. So this false perception, which it is, perpetuates a troubled sense of self that it answers the trouble by telling it what to do to resolve the trouble. So if you're seeing, this is the insatiable appetite of Legion. It produces the problem in imagination, then suffers the problem it has imagined, creates an I that can escape its creation in a time to come, and then suffers not getting there, and then suffers when it does get there that it didn't get there. That is an insatiable cycle, is it not? Can you see it? By the way, that's why it's impossible as we are to stop feeling like we're always in a rush. Because everything's telling me I'm behind. I mean, I've got a certain date, a certain time, a certain place, certain situation. That all has to get done. Money, health, relation, everything needs to be arranged. And I don't know why it is that I can't get it finally arranged. So I'm always analyzing the present arrangement and being unhappy with it, basically. I've got a problem. I'm complaining about things. I'm going to give a whole talk on complaining. And no more do I think I got it straightened out. Along comes a spider, sits down beside her, and messes all that's straightened up out. So at a certain point, a human being begins to realize what? Assuming you've reached this point, I'm wondering if you have, how futile it is to try to escape this moment. What a waste of time it is to take thought, which is why Christ said, what man taking thought can add one cubit. What man being anxious over where life is and what he's experiencing, where he is. What person can add one thing to themselves? Because the only thing you add to yourself when you take thought about tomorrow, meaning wherever it is that you want to get to, all you add to yourself is the conclusion that the sense of conflict you're in is valid. Because after all, I couldn't feel this strongly unless there weren't that possibility waiting just outside my present position. Yes? And if I see that this idea of a better place, which represents what? A better experience. Isn't that what a better place and time represents? An experience that isn't like the one in the time and place that I'm in. So a better place is a better experience. And if I actually start to understand, I've been looking for a better experience my entire life, and all I keep experiencing is looking for it. Honestly. So what happens when that nature begins to realize the discontent it experiences, it's creating? And as it creates the discontent, then it imagines the contentment in another time and place, and then around and around it goes, going nowhere fast. Insatiable. So the realization makes something that ordinarily we don't see possible. A glimpse of something that we would ordinarily never see. We begin to understand, yes or no, and this is up to you, I can't make you do it. Something in me, a moment comes, could be anything, and something snaps the whip. It goes, jump, jump, like that. Now, you may not actually jump. Some of us actually do. You may not jump, but you can feel that sudden contraction. That sudden contraction, by the way, is a defensive act. Every moment of sudden contraction is the body preparing for what the mind, asleep to itself, is telling it it's about to deal with. So here's this contraction. And the mind says, jump. If anything you have seen or understood today, you must start to recognize that whatever this impatience is that's causing that, it's not mine. I mean, what a revelation that would be if you understand that all of your rushing is based on a nature impatient with where it is and the experience of itself. And its impatience is to get to a newly prescribed place where the problem it has there, it will turn into something peaceful for itself. I'm impatient to get there. I'm impatient to get this over with. And a person spend their entire life trying to get over their life and not know that they spent their entire life until they come to the point where there's no more life for them to be impatient with, then they're in fear of the end of their life. So what happens if a person, and if you've followed me at all, and if you haven't, I don't know whether it's because I didn't explain it clearly enough. This impatience that I always feel, got to get ahead of him, got to get there faster, got to do this now. That impatience doesn't belong to me. And it never has. To whom does that impatience belong to? Have you followed me enough to answer that question? It belongs to something that prior to whatever it is that's going on that I don't want has decided, I don't want this. And having decided this isn't where I want to be and what I want, then resists the moment that it has created for you and projects a time when you won't be in that pain. And impatience proved to you, you must in fact jump through that hoop, or you're going to have to live with the pain produced in the conflict of that nature. Because that impatience... Repeat after me. Impatience is a sign of unseen conflict.
Impatience is a sign of unseen conflict.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Can I be impatient if I'm happy with where I am? Can I be impatient with myself if I'm pleased with myself? So here I am. I'm impatient. I used to drive myself crazy. Back in the day, I'd be going to play some golf with a few men, and I'd maybe get behind because I had been impatient with something else and wanted to get that done, and I'd rush to get to the golf course. And you know what happens when you rush to get to the golf course? Nothing good. You step up to the first tee, and you are in the hands of anxiety. And then what does that anxiety tell you to do? Listen to this. Swing faster so you can get to the next place where you'll make another crummy swing because you're still anxious trying to get away from the experience of yourself. That's what all impatience is the attempt to get away from yourself. Are you following me? We're working towards something. So here I am. And if what I've said is true, then what am I going to have to do if I want to be free? I can see I'm a captive of a consciousness that is always trying to get away from the experience it creates for itself to a time and place when it won't be what it is and have what it has as it is. And so if I want to be free, what do I have to do? What do I have to do to get to this place that in our heart of hearts we recognize as being our true place? Without this pain, what do I have to do?
See the whole thing.
If impatience is an unseen form of imprisonment, can you see that? Do you think you're imprisoning yourself when you're impatient, or do you believe you're planning a jailbreak? Right? Isn't that right? A jailbreak. Hurry. Hurry, the guards are coming. You're the prison, the guards, and the cellmate, and the constitution that holds you in that captive state. Hurry, hurry. And the hurrier you go, the worrier you get. And the worrier you get, the deeper in debt you are to that nature, to that imprisonment. So making this shift, what's the one solution on the spot that can bring an end to that suffering? And listen to this. This is the other thing. See, you're impatient to bring an end to the suffering of impatience. That's what every question is. How do I come to the end of this pain? Isn't it? Because I'm him, I'm her, I'm this, I'm that. I can give you all the reasons that I feel imprisoned. I got 1 million of them. I don't get no respect. I'm all the time trying to figure out how to escape this imprisonment, and I'm so impatient. What's the one solution to you recognizing you are never going to escape the imprisonment of a nature that is endlessly impatient because it has created for itself its own captivity? What's the one solution?
Suffering.
In Luke, Christ says to his disciples, I've touched on this before, but we're going deeper. Christ says, in your patience, possess you your soul. Not, I want you to be impatient and go spread the good word. I want you to be impatient because Spirit isn't visiting you, and that means something's wrong with you, so you better pick up your discipline. You better accelerate everything you're doing. Spend more time trying to make your mind quiet. In your patience, possess ye your soul. The actual meaning, and we've talked about this before, of the word patience is what? To suffer yourself. In the ancient language, patience meant to suffer yourself. Not like it is today, tolerate others who aren't like you. Not tolerate your own enmity towards yourself or those who don't act the way you want them to. Patience, suffer yourself. And if you do, Christ said, you will possess your own soul. Now I have to throw this in even though it's going to make me go a little bit longer than I want to. You have no idea what this world has done. You know what the modern translations are? Possess ye your soul. Endure what you have to get through the moment.
Jeez.
That's right in one of the new versions of the Bible. Endure what you have to so you can get through the moment, unstated, to what it is that you need to do so you'll be free of this pain. So the very comment endure means I'm going to resist this moment because it's against me, but if I do it long enough, it'll pass, and then I'll pass through this moment to the other side that I've imagined is there, which is why I'll endure my own ambition. I'll endure my own greed, my own selfishness. I'll endure it. Because first I have to judge myself, yes or no, and then after I've judged myself, I'm going to endure what I've judged so that I can get past being someone who feels judged by the world when it isn't the world at all that judges you. What judges you is a nature that's decided you're not in the right place, not doing the right thing, and you need to be someplace else where the peace that you want to find in yourself awaits you. And it doesn't await you anywhere outside of yourself, in any religion, in any condition, in any circumstance. This is why the idea, possess you in your patience, possess your soul, means patience, suffer myself. Did you notice my voice got up? Patience myself? Suffer myself? Now this is the side voice. After all, it is so much simpler to blame others, isn't it? What's the advantage in blaming others for this impatience that I feel? Do you or do you not do that? Do you not sit and think about people that really irritate you? I'm impatient with. They're not even there, and I'm impatient with them. So that's extraordinary. What's involved in that impatience? What's going on? If I'm impatient with you, all I need to do is allow that impatience to produce for me a time when I change you, a time when I won't be around you, a place where I don't have to endure you, some situation that I will set up somehow or the other that has nothing to do with the one I don't want. When I set it up, I'll be free, and I'll be free of you. So that impatience creates time. The illusion of time, I might add. Impatience creates psychological time. Which is why every time you blame someone for your impatience, essentially you're setting yourself up. A piece of you is setting you up to find a peace that it imagines in a time to come, that it imagines that when you get there, lo and behold, even if there's a fragment of it, it's soon gone. It just evaporates. Do you see this with me? So now I've got this really terrible idea. I have to suffer myself. Because I don't want to suffer myself. I just don't want to suffer anything. If I could, I just want to have one lifelong mouthful of chocolate. Whatever it is that makes you happy. For some of you, it's some weird smoothie, I know. No, just any taste besides the one of my own mouth. So now we come to another question. Are you still with me? Are you still working? So now I have to suffer myself. And this is what you say, but I have tried that. I didn't do very good. Because as I start to suffer, in order to suffer myself, I believe that means to resist the suffering. That's what I call suffering myself, is not wanting to be the person who's suffering. Isn't that so? Or I suffer myself, and this is what you mean. I sit and have pity parties. I pour the mud of some misery over myself time and time again by revisiting the past or fearing some future so I can sit and stew in that suffering and then be sure that it's not because of me, but because I'm in the wrong place at the wrong time. So now I can come up with a new place and a new time that I never get to. So what is this self to be suffered? You think it's you. I'm trying to show you that it's not you, which is the only way you'll ever be actually willing to suffer it. You're not going to suffer yourself. What? Show me the advantage in suffering myself. Come on, Guy. Don't tell me one day I'll be free if I do that. I've been trying to do that and I'm not. What's the advantage in suffering myself? The advantage is discovering that you don't know what the self is that's suffering. That's the advantage, because only then is it possible for you to lay down your life for another. You'll see as I go along here. Still with me? What is this self that I have to suffer? What does it suffer? Well, it's not in the right place. What is it that has to be suffered? Everything that takes place when I'm not in the right place at the right time. So if I'm going to find out who is this self to suffer, I'm going to have to ask a question that, again, I've not asked myself. Remember I said when, where, how, and why all together at the same time? I have to go through this, 50 minutes to show it, but I'm trying to show you. Why am I impatient? Can you argue that you are impatient? I can't argue that I'm impatient. Sit down and go to a restaurant. I can think of 3 times in my life the food came at the right speed. And then it came cold because it was waiting in the kitchen. I'm impatient. My finances aren't right. My health isn't right. My relationships have problems. I'm not sure about the future, so I'm impatient with it and I need to fix it. I need to fix what I see coming. I'm impatient with my body. The older you get, the more impatient the tendency is to be impatient with your body. You want to chastise your body for doing what your body has no choice but to do. Are you complicit maybe in the downfall of the body? For sure. But part of that complicity is because of your impatience. Because when I'm impatient, the solution to impatience is to eat stuff the body doesn't want, or to do things that it's not interested in doing, to push it. Anything but to deal with what I am in that moment. So, why am I impatient? Have you ever asked yourself that question? Please don't lie. Here I am and I'm feeling, Have you ever said, well, why am I impatient? No, I don't ask why I'm impatient. I know why I'm impatient. Don't you? It's extraordinary. No human being has ever said when they're anxious, I wonder why I'm anxious. Because prior to that anxiety, as it has arisen, comes with it, out of that reaction, the explanation for the anxiety. The anxiety says, well, look. Oh my God, you're right. I didn't see that coming. You bet you didn't. You should judge yourself. Okay, I will. I'll get more spiritual. Then I'll be in the right place where I'll see it coming. And on that. Why am I impatient? I never ask the question. I just go along with the nature of impatience. I just go along with it. I let it answer the question. I let that I, which is legion, because there are as many impatient eyes as there are conditions that challenge this conditioned nature. There are as many impatient eyes as there are changing conditions that bring that I out in that moment. Because why? Because now I am not where I need to be. This is not where I want to go. All of this, everyone brings out its own impatient eye, and each impatient eye shows up with what? the exact prescription that it needs, that Legion needs, that unconscious nature needs to rescue itself from what it created to begin with. Please? How are we so deceived to believe that not just the pain of this nature, it is painful to be impatient, isn't it? That not just to be deceived into looking at what it points to, but to believe that what it points to can actually rescue me from the nature doing the pointing. When you're impatient, does not your nature show you what's wrong? Does it not show you what you need to do about what's wrong? And then not tell you how to get to that place where you won't be experiencing that impatience anymore? Yes or no? Sounds like a fait accompli, doesn't it? Fait accompli, as they would say en français. Isn't that how it goes? And that's the point. Your fate is sealed. Your fate is sealed when you allow this impatient nature, whatever form it takes, as it starts to formulate to you what you must do to be free. In that moment, you're in its prison and don't know you're in its prison. And now what happens? Look at me. Manifestations of impatience. We never think to. Do you think that frustration is the proof of impatience? Or does frustration simply point and prove to you that you have a right to feel this way because things aren't working out the way they're supposed to be? I know this personally, deeply, especially in the days when I was working as a handyman and stuff like that. Man, something would go wrong that I was working on, frustration would mount. As frustration mounted, it guaranteed that things would get worse. Then I'd use caulk. Never. I mean, what was the source of this frustration that I was feeling when things weren't going the way I wanted them to go? I have other places to be. I have other experiences. I'm not meant to be a handyman. I was a king in a past life, or whatever it is that goes on in your mind. I'm frustrated. Yeah, you're frustrated. Why? Because the moment isn't right. No, it's not the moment that isn't right. It's that you're not in the moment trying to show you what you need to see about this nature so you can be free of impatience. Please? Fear and anxiety. How is fear and anxiety a manifestation of impatience? Can you be anxious without worrying about what will happen? Can you? So if I'm worried about what will happen, then that means if and when these things take place as imagined, I'm going to have to deal with it. Well, I don't want to have to deal with it then. I want to deal with it now. So I'm actually looking to fear to free me from a fearful state that it's created, and I want to get it over with now, which is how fear hides from me this consciousness that creates the condition. It's extraordinary, really, if you start to see it. And the point of all this isn't to, in quotes, change your behavior. That's something you're going to have to work at yourself as understood. So can I be anxious without worrying about what will happen? Can I? And can I be anxious about what will happen unless I've already derived a certain sense of myself from what I think should happen? So really what I'm anxious over is the loss of whatever I'm identified with inside of myself. And now I have to do what? I've got to rearrange everything so I can keep that image in place that is the source of that impatience. You getting the big picture? So now the telling question is, one more question. What's the actual source of all these negative reactions? Because we're talking about negative reactions, aren't we? Something goes on, something gets triggered, something appears to save the day. A day doesn't get saved, I get another day that I can save myself in. What's the source of all of these reactions that are driving this impatience and its nature to do what it does? This is what's fascinating and so important. An unconscious nature, our nature, that you don't really know what it means to be unconscious. Unconsciousness can't know itself. Do you understand that? Can't. Unconsciousness can't see itself. But thank God, there is something that can see an unconscious nature. And what is it that can see an unconscious nature? Something that isn't contributing to the impatience, but rather is watching the nature that is impatient. An unconscious nature that never stops comparing what should be to what is. That's the cause of impatience. Comparison. You can't be impatient without comparison. It's impossible. Please, I'm asking for you to see. I'm impatient at the table. Why? Because the food should come quicker. I'm unhappy at the table. Why? Because the food's not the way it's supposed to be. I'm unhappy with where I am in my life right now. Why? Because compared to where I should be, it's not happening. I'm really frustrated by the way people treat me. Why? Because compared to how I know I ought to be treated, it's a problem. I feel this stress and anxiety. I don't want it. Why? Because comparing the way I'm supposed to live without these problems, this is a real pain in the Gestanza. So my whole life is constantly in a state without me having any aware of it at all. Constant comparison. Why can't I just sit quietly someplace? I mean, honestly. Because something is too painful. What's painful about sitting someplace quietly? Well, something in me knows that I should be feeling and experiencing certain things that are not there. I need stimulus. I need stimulus. So something in me compares a moment, listen, where it doesn't know what the stimulus is or what it should be to the stimulus that I don't even know it's looking for. I just love myself. I just want a sense of myself. That's all I want. Can't I have that? Yes, you can. But with it comes the impatience that the sense of self you have isn't the right one at the right time. So I'm a self-juggler. Meaning I'm always juggling moments that I believe are contributing to this sense of self that I don't want. Instead of recognizing the sense of self I don't want is actually creating the moments that I'm trying to juggle my way out of. Coming to the end. What if I actually see this? That somehow or other, conscious suffering is a requirement. And conscious suffering is the suffering of myself. But now I understand the self that has to be consciously suffered isn't I at all. It belongs to a level of consciousness that is unconscionable, doesn't care what it does to itself, doesn't care what it does to anyone else. It just wants the peace, it just wants the pleasure it imagines it deserves. Suffer myself. Suffer myself. I can now begin, if I've understood anything that I've said to you, that you've understood anything I've said, a lesson that's at the root of all of this. Because if you have begun to see, even just with your mind in a small way, the I that suffers the moment is the cause of the moment it's suffering. The I that suffers the moment is the cause of the moment it's suffering. I mean, if I knew anything at all about that, it would bring me to this lesson of lessons, the one that I'm going to describe to you, that is, in fact, the one that allows us to be at peace with ourselves. Because the peace isn't a time to come now. The peace is fulfilling the purpose of the moment that I have been placed in to fulfill the purpose of my own existence. Eric, let's put up the last of the key lessons, please. Be where you are, with what you are, and exactly as you are in each moment. Be where you are, with what you are, and exactly as you are in each moment. Now, be where you are doesn't mean just be in your house, just be in your car. Where am I, inwardly and outwardly at the same time? Be where I am inwardly. Be what I am inwardly, and exactly as I am in each moment. If I do that, how, when, where, and how are answered. I don't have to look for a solution to this pain. I recognize the pain is a product of an impatient nature that cannot wait to push me, throw me, yield me, give me up to a time and place that only exists in its imagination and that I have to suffer for so that it can continue to live its imagined life. That's what conscious suffering is. And I'd go further, but I'm out of time. It fulfills all the commandments. It makes sure the Beatitudes come to life. Be where I am with what I am and exactly am as I am in each moment. Be where I am. Where am I? I'm full of rage. What am I? I'm enraged. Be exactly as you are, enraged. And then don't find a way out of it. Don't look for an answer. Let that moment, the clarity of it, produce the transfiguration of that nature, because the light of that awareness, as it begins to show you exactly how, when, where, what I am, that's the end of that I. That's the end of me identifying with it. That's the end of a self separate from life. Because isn't that what impatience is? Proof that life somehow or other is separate from me? See it, practice it, and then you'll find the peace to be in yourself, with yourself, and you'll be able to live that. It'll be a different kind of peace, completely different kind of peace, but it's one that has no beginning and no end. Enter it, and you find your true nature. Take a break. We'll come back and have our Q&A.
Welcome back, everybody. Geez, I was leaning into the camera a little bit there. Anyway, welcome back, everybody. Before we move to the question and answer or discussion period with Guy, I made a couple of notes of some brief announcements I want to share with you as we settle back in. The first of which is a reminder of our full weekly schedule of classes and online study groups that you're invited to participate in. We have a study group tomorrow night. Monday nights is our online study group for our Wisdom School members, and that is at 6 p.m. Pacific time, 9 p.m. Eastern time. And that group speaks about the talk that we heard on the previous Wednesday. Wednesday is our classic Guy Finley talk nights. And those talks, the Wednesday Classic Guy Finley talks, are at 6 p.m. Pacific time. And then we have a Friday online study group, a free online study group that is open to everybody. And that meeting is at 5 p.m. Eastern time or Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern time. And that Friday online study group always discusses the talk that Guy gives on the previous Sunday. So this talk is what we will be talking about as students on Friday night. So I hope you can join us for that. Saturday, as Guy referred to in his opening comments today, Saturday is where he gives a live talk on Insight Timer. And that is at 8 a.m. Pacific time in the morning. So a full weekly schedule of classes. Join us as often as you can. The second thing I wanted to mention again is that if you're unable to see the whole talk of Guy's, you can always go back to either Facebook or YouTube if that's where you've been watching, and you can watch a replay of it. Or you can go to our GoToWebinar archive, which is at guyfinley.org/channel, and you can access that. Anyone can access it at any time once the talk is up there. And I just mentioned it because that particular resource also includes a transcript of the talk. And I always find that useful for myself sometimes as I'm listening, or then I want to stop and kind of read what Guy had to say. It just helps me get a little deeper into the talk and make my understanding better. And finally, we are a nonprofit organization, the Life of Learning Foundation, and we depend upon the donations of so many people in order to continue our mission. And we thank those of you who are donating. And if you wish to donate or join us in that cause, please go to guyfinley.org/donate. And there you'll see many ways in which you can help this foundation and continue to help us in our mission to share these ideas around the world. So there were some brief announcements. I think we are ready to settle in. I see a couple of hands have been raised in the queue. I don't see a written question yet, but I'm sure those will come in. Before we continue, Guy, is there anything else you'd like to say?
No.
Nope. All right. Then we will go to our hands in the queue. I'm going to start. I'm going to go to Frida first. So I'll unmute Frida. So I've sent you a request, Frida. There you go.
Hello, Guy. Oh, it's an echo.
I'm afraid to answer. Hello, Frida? Be patient. We're sorting it out.
Is Frida there?
Yeah, John, tell Frida, we'll come right back to you. We're trying to sort out.
It's not on our end, it's on her end.
Oh, it's on Frida's end.
All right. Okay, Frida, we will come back to you. Let's go next. We'll go next to James. James is in our queue. So why don't we try him next while we're unfixing Frida. Hello, James.
Hello.
Hi, students. If Eric or John wants to turn a camera on, let's do that.
Okay, your sound is good now.
That was Frida before, it's James now.
That's what I said. That's fine. Yeah, we can hear you fine, James, and we can turn the camera on for sure. There you are.
All right, super. Well, I just can't express enough gratitude for this talk in conjunction with last Sunday's, superlatives like fabulous, magnifique, marvelous, just don't cover it. So I really want to express my gratitude for that.
Take as
But-
much time as you want.
The question is, so kind of a disturbance happens, which creates a desire to end the storm, which kind of throws gasoline on the fire of the firestorm that I created unconsciously.
That it created,
And-
that it created, James,
Okay,
not I.
right. All right. That's kind of, in other words, so then every moment becomes a teaching moment?
Yes, very much so. If I'm present, because for instance, just that small correction, we have a tendency to say I all the time, because that's the most familiar and, by the way, beloved feeling that we have. I, love I. But when you start to recognize that these activities, this unconscious movement, belongs to a nature asleep to itself, and that it has its own I, but it is not really me, then I can begin the process of actually separating wheat from the chaff. Then each moment becomes an opportunity, A, to see how I'm tempted to say and feel I, but then to be aware of that by another magnitude of awareness that that is not I. So then I grow in this awareness and my faith that it will bring about more revelation of that order.
Okay, you kind of started this talk with about note about seeking, and last week it was we cannot look for something and see. So the conflict is me imagining my own answer, and that's in conflict with what is. So the seeking and the
No, see, James, you're assuming what really the whole world, especially presently with today's so-called spirituality, you're assuming responsibility for a nature that your one responsibility to it is to watch it, not to say I to it. You are not the one that creates conflict. This nature is already conflicted. It already is conditioned. It already has knowledge of how things should be and has already established parameters by which it believes it to be at peace or profitable accordingly. And that nature, once those parameters, that place in time, that imagination is created, is established, then everything's measured next to that. And so it's in constant conflict with itself. Our problem is that we keep saying I to its conflict because we don't recognize it, because we're too busy identified with trying to get rid of the pain that belongs to it. Do you see that, James?
right on, I got it. Thank
Okay.
you very much. It
You're wel-
answers the
you're-
question.
You're good.
All right, thank you, James. Let me see if we can go to Frida again. We'll give Frida a try. So Frida, I'm going to send you a request to unmute and let's try again.
Hello, Guy. Think it's an echo again.
I'm so sorry, Frida. I don't know what could be causing something on your end. Kate's pretty sure.
Well, it was fine with James, so.
I know it worked with James. We'll sort it out. Don't get impatient.
If you can tell her I sent her a message and to look at my message.
Kate sent you a message, she says, Frida, so take a look at that message. Maybe it'll help get us straighten out what we're trying to do. We have someone in the hot chair. Hold that mic right up to your mouth and let me see you be bold.
Okay. Hi, Guy.
Okay. That's about half bold.
Okay. I'll try yelling.
That's what you have to do.
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
And just put it right in front.
Okay. So last week, I had to fill out a form.
Oh, no.
And it was important. So, to the best of my ability, I tried to be aware. And I filled it out and I thought, okay, something crept in. And it was dark and vicious and violent, and it attacked itself over and over. And suddenly something came in, and it came to me, stop, this is a lie. Like, it's nothing in me wanted to stop and see, but seeing it, I remember you saying you wouldn't treat your worst enemy like you treat yourself. And that's what I saw. And
So you saw two things at once, which is good, if I understand.
yeah.
First, you saw that something is malicious in me.
Mm-hmm.
I filled out the form, and then I'm visited by a thought that says, well, what about this, and how about that?
Mm-hmm.
So the implication in the questions your own mind is asking you is, did you do this perfectly? Because if you didn't do this perfectly, you are imperfect. So what's punishing me is an image that I have of my own perfection. That's what's punishing me. I can't, how can I be punished by something I do unless something is measuring it, comparing what it thinks it did compared to what it thinks it should have done. So now I'm suffering, it's attacking itself. Suddenly, according to you, I see this. This is extraordinary. What is going on? What is this pain? What's this impatience telling me I need to go fix it or get it over again? Can I get it back? I take it back, I take it back. But then at the same time that you see this, and this is the important part, you see that you really don't want to stop being engaged in that.
Mm-hmm.
So on one hand, something in me loves what it's doing, and on another side, it despises what it's doing to itself. Those two things belong to each other, and yet there is another eye that can see that nature. And that's all you're interested in, is the more clearly you can see this divisive, fragmented self revisiting its own regrets that wouldn't exist if it didn't think it was perfect.
Mm-hmm.
To see all of that is the beginning of you separating wheat from chaff. But not you separating. The separation is in the awareness that reveals love and hate of oneself are actually one thing. Now I'm separate from that nature, from legion. And I see it, and I need to see it more deeply.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I just say one thing?
Oh, all right.
So then I went home and I got the results of the test. Everything was fine.
Oh, no. So more useless worry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes.
Say that.
Useless worrying.
Useless worry. All worry is useless.
Yes. Yes. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, Guy, I see we have Fiona in the queue here, so we can go next to her. Fiona, hello, I sent you a request to unmute.
Hello.
Hi. Do I get to see you?
I can't see a request for a camera. Oh, here we go. Okay, hi.
Ah, Fiona.
Well, this is a really great talk for me this week, particularly because I'm moving house in a couple of weeks. And my work has taken off in an unexpected way at the same time. And I have a kind of sense of overwhelming, little pangs of overwhelming wanting to know how this is possibly going to happen.
Yeah, right.
But with the thought in mind, just to be aware of that, just pushing forwards, pushing out, and wanting to just stay with it.
100%. Because it's a real temptation. I really want to get rid of this sense of not knowing, this uncertainty, I really can't stand this sort of restlessness inside of me because I'm wrestling with what may or may not happen. And then you start to become aware of that, and you realize that this actually isn't helping my pain. It's accelerating it. It's exacerbating the very thing it says it wants to get rid of. And that's it. To see the loop, to see how this mind hides from itself in the time it imagines it will finally be free of expressing itself, of the experience of itself. The more clearly you see it, the less you have to do with it. And that's what dying to oneself is. You don't die all of a sudden, but you do die quickly when you see, as adamantly, as clearly as possible, I'm about to run through this whole thing again. And then, as far as I'm concerned, Fiona, that's where the words "God help me" really comes in. Because I didn't put this in the talk, but I'll share it with you. You know what the real impatience, the real anxiety, do you know what's really behind all of that? Is that I don't want to see the fact that of myself I can't change myself. Because everything about my impatience is about changing the condition in order to change the experience of myself. And then if I actually see I can't change the condition in any meaningful way that will create a transition, a transformation in this consciousness, suddenly it becomes clear to me, I'm not going to be the one to make this change. I can't make this change. But change will take place when I finally stop trying to make change, because I'll die to the illusion of myself as someone separate from the situation I'm in. Isn't that look, I'm in this situation. My work is taking off, but I got to move. I got to get stuff I don't want to get. I got to risk stuff. I got to blah, 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 blah. And so I'm caught up in this tumult, and I want to bring an end to the tumult. And the more I try to think it through, the more tumultuous it becomes. So the answer is stop it. But you can't stop it by an act of will. You stop it by stepping out of that consciousness, because you see how useless it is to be caught up in that impatience.
Yeah, that consciousness just comes in automatically
Exactly.
to try and cope, which is just taking me totally out of the situation. That's already, the thought of trying to cope is taking me away. That's taking me out of where I need to be. Absolutely.
Right. It's taking you out of seeing that there's no need to cope. This is so difficult for us to understand. Our whole life is about coping, which produces a time when we won't have to be like we are. So I cope with this conflict by imagining a time where everything's done. Your true nature, imagine the ocean saying, you know, I have to cope with these damn waves. I hate these waves. I mean, that's basically what this nature is saying all the time. I need to cope with this disturbance. But your true nature isn't disturbed by life, it's fulfilled through its movement. So to understand that movement as part of the fulfillment of self, as opposed to something that's stealing your freedom, changes the whole paradigm. And that's the only way that real change takes place in us.
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah, I'm quite enjoying it, actually, just that, the whole tumult.
Yeah. Are you moving locally?
Yes, I am going to stay with colleagues, and then I'm going to decide where I want to be. So it's a kind of transition time.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
get rid of all the stuff that you don't use, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's always,
Yeah.
that's one of the good things about moving. You realize you have 90% of your stuff you don't need anymore. And then you can stop trying to rearrange it.
Yes, it's fantastic. It's been whittled down, definitely.
Yeah.
And it's really good. That's another identity that can just be dropped.
Yeah. Okay. Go to work.
Thank you, guys.
Talk to you next week.
Yeah, bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right.
Patricia-
Thank you, Fiona.
Patricia's in the chair, John.
Okay, Guy?
Go ahead. Make sure you put it right here.
Hello.
Hello.
Well, my sister died. My sister Cheryl died last week, about a week ago. And I'm at peace with that. She was ready to go. Not that I won't miss her and all that, but something I noticed, a lot of the family, a couple members of family are sending pictures around of the three of us, my two sisters and myself. And I'm looking at these pictures, and I'm looking at my pictures on my cell phone, and I realized I've never had a life. You know, I can see the pictures, I can remember what happened, remember when the picture was taken, but I wasn't there in my life.
Right.
And I'm working on a talk I'm supposed to give tomorrow night, and at the talk, the guy said in this talk that he said it quite a few times that we're not living our life. Wait, now I forgot what it was. We're not living our life because we're not in it.
Correct.
And that never meant anything to me except like a concept. But as I'm looking at these pictures and seeing these new pictures people are sending around, I don't know where my life was. I don't know how to say it. It's more of a sensation. I've never lived a life.
Yeah.
Not the good, not the bad, nothing. So I don't know what to do with that except know it.
The answer is don't give your life over to regret, to sentimentality, to consolation. Have your life, which is the awareness of your life. Your life is the awareness of your life. Patricia is a Fig Newton,
Yeah.
right? And basically a creation of imagination conditioned brought up
Yeah,
in.
exactly.
And so, but the awareness of that conditioning proves a consciousness that doesn't exist at the same level.
Right.
That's where life begins. That's where individuality starts.
Now that I'm so old.
No such thing.
No such thing. Thank you. That's exactly right.
Okay.
All right, Guy, I see Yolanda has raised her hand in the queue, so I'm going to send her a chance to unmute. So hello, Yolanda.
Hi, can you hear me?
I can. Yolanda.
You can? Hi, Guy.
Hi. So long. Nice to hear
I
you.
know.
Any chance
I've stayed close, in truth.
Any chance I get to see you?
Well, let me see if I can.
John, send it.
I did, Yolanda. You can turn on your camera.
Yolanda.
Hi. So good to see you.
Oh, what a nice day.
It's I've stayed close, in truth. So much so, to the point where a couple weeks ago, I entered the dark night of the soul. And it was so disorienting. It made me realize that I understood the work intellectually,
Yes. Perfect.
but it's so different when you're experiencing it. And for the first time, I'm actually able to see. I literally wrote it down because I didn't want to get long-winded. I said, now I am seeing so many unconscious natures within me that were hidden
Yes.
from me, but running my life.
Yes.
And there was a bitter feeling, but relief at the same time.
Precise.
And I feel like that was the first real feeling I've had.
Yeah.
So the question is, now that I see there's a self-sabotage nature that tries to run my life and ruin my life. It's residing in me, and it creates conditions through events to feel the sense of doom. I'm noticing. Not sure where it came from, it's just there. So eventually, based on the talk that I listened to, I decided to say, you know what, just go on without me. And I just stood there like that girl in the herd. And for the first time, I had a pause and an energy shift where I could see even the sun looked brighter. I can't really explain the feeling, but I was more present. I
Yes.
would have.
Yes.
So sometimes though I can feel a contraction where the thoughts are coming, like in a distance. So the question I have is this the crucible moment where I allow opposing forces to act on me and just witness? I'm feeling like I'm more of a witness in my life more than anything else, and that I just want to stay present because
Yes. Look,
I just want to stay present all day.
yes, and God willing, all of that will take place, but you need to see, without struggling too much with it, that what took place that produced this perhaps first real deep shock, you didn't create that. It came as a result of everything that you had been working to understand and then seeing to some extent, I don't understand what I thought I did. So suddenly there's a space. Thought isn't crowded together trying to validate itself. Suddenly there's a small space and something slips into that space. And the light that slips in is the real life. And when you experience that, you realize your whole life you never had a life, much like my wife was talking about.
Right.
And now I hunger and thirst for the first time for what could be called real life. Now the trick is, and it is a bit of a trick, to not let that moment become the moment all moments are judged by. Remain with your wish to see, doing what you need to do to see, and then let what you are being given show you what you cannot see by yourself. So that what happens, Yolanda, bit by bit, but all at once, is that I start to understand that it's not my job to balance these opposites. It's my job to observe them and let the light reveal that they are not opposed to each other, but working for the greater good of the self that can see them in operation. Now I'm living in the light of Christ, if you want to use those words, where by that light I realize all things work for the greater good, because I'm no longer identified with what I call good, and I'm no longer afraid with what I call bad. I see them as being the simultaneous appearance of a nature. The sirens that tried to slay Odysseus, they weren't trying to kill him. They were doing what sirens do. Legion isn't trying to kill, it is trying to interfere. Its nature is interference. That's what it is. So these states in us, they're not trying to destroy, they're merely trying to keep you from seeing with great clarity that you are not they and they are not you. They are a part of this broader life, but they are not the life itself, let alone the light that we're intended to see them with. I hope that helps some bit, Yolanda.
It does. A part of me wonders or tend to see things in stages, like, okay, this is a stage that I'm in. And I'm like, when am I going to get out? The impatience.
Yeah, no.
When am I going to get out?
Get off the stage. No stages, Yolanda. No
so
stages.
no.
Stages are separation, because there has to be somebody going through this who derives that from this. That's the illusion. The whole of this life is the divine stage. Step onto it, let it show you what it shows you, accept what it shows you as best you can, and then let it show you something else, so that revelation becomes the basis of your life instead of you hoping to reveal what's keeping you from having a real life. It's just reversed. Now you know where to be inwardly at all times.
Thank you, Guy. Good to see you.
If your daughter is still alive and well, would you please pass along my best to her?
Okay.
Thank you. Nice to see you, Yolanda. Bye.
Good to see you.
You too.
Bye-bye.
All right, Guy, I'm going to come on here. I have a written question that came in from YouTube. that I'll share, and then Frida is back in line, so we'll try to get to her. But here is a written question. It came in from Debbie on YouTube, and she asks, what is the best way to stop the monkey brain from yammering away that anything outside of myself is causing me to be impatient?
You know, what a synchronistic question it is, Debbie, because I threw away something that I wrote earlier this morning about that very question, believe it or not. And what I threw away is this. Imagine two zookeepers. One's new, an apprentice, and one's the senior zookeeper. And they're going by the monkey cage. And there's one chimp in there who's just losing his mind. I don't know if you've ever seen it. This guy's grabbing this stuff and running, leaping from pillar to post and screeching and screeching. And the apprentice says to the senior, what's the best way to stop that monkey from doing monkeying around? And the senior zookeeper says, well, I can tell you this. If you want the monkey to stop doing what it's doing, don't give it a banana while it's doing it. End of story. That's it. Here I am impatient. How do I answer my impatience? Give it a banana. Give it tomorrow. Give it a new plan. Let it go distract itself with something else. Don't give the monkey mind the bananas that it's chimping for. That's the problem. Because then you'll get to see, well, it didn't stop. And even when I give it a banana, it just wants another banana. So monkeys have legion in the side of them too. Well, I want more. It's not enough. Why? Well, because the eye that it satiated is gone. And now I have another eye that needs to be satiated. Banana, banana, banana. Hence the expression, you're driving yourself bananas. Thank you. I'll be here all week.
All right, Guy. Let's try going to Frida one more time. Okay. So Frida, I've sent you a request to unmute yourself again.
Hello, Guy.
Ah.
Do you hear me now?
I hear you now.
I think I pressed the mic button, that's why.
Yeah.
It's double. You can put the camera on.
Perfect.
There you go, Frida.
Oh.
No camera?
You might have to push the camera button or something, but don't push that sound thing that you did live.
I put it out again, I think. I don't know.
That's all right. Bit by bit. We're talking anyway.
Yeah, but I want to do it all.
I get it.
My fears go away, I hope.
We will.
But I have
We
patience.
will take it as it comes, Frida. You and I.
Yeah. But that's why I want to say thank you for all that you for this talk and all the things you say. I'm so grateful for that, and that's why I came on. And for my fear, I come on till it's gone. How do you say that?
Well, it helps because we have a different food other than the one that we feed ourselves when we're trying to escape ourselves. But the gratitude is a good thing, Frida. Not to me. Gratitude for the fact that there are moments where I can see where I have been imprisoned by something I had no idea I was complicit in creating. And as I see the complicity in the conflict, how it continues itself at the cost of my life, and I step back a little bit, I see it a little more clearly. Every single time that happens comes a new message, and then you become a message catcher. Someone who lives for the freedom of revelation. Because each time there's a new revelation, the revelation always includes what I did not understand about myself, but now I see with some new clarity. And in that new clarity, lo and behold, some of that captivity is exercised. And I find myself willing to go through what I have to go through, no matter what it takes, because I understand that in that willingness to suffer myself consciously, I learn about a self that lives a million miles above everything that I've always called myself, then it's all worthwhile, and that builds faith, and that sets the stage for another set of messages.
Yeah, thank you for that. I'm going to go for it.
Yes, go for it. I love that. In fact, go for it, and we will figure out how to get you on camera next time, because I would really I'd like to see you for sure. Nice to talk to you, Frida. Bye.
See you next time.
Next time.
All right, Guy, that's no more hands in the queue, and I don't have any other written questions. Oh, Dwight just popped his hand up. Shall we go to Dwight?
What would a day be without Dwight?
All right. All right, Dwight, I've sent you a request to unmute, and if you wish to be on camera, just let me know. Go ahead, Dwight, and unmute yourself.
Okay, does that work? Did that work?
Yes.
Okay, did I hit camera to show my beautiful face? How do I do that?
Yes, I just sent you a request to do that, Dwight, so go ahead.
There I am. Hi.
That's what you call beautiful?
Oh,
Yeah.
no, it's not beautiful.
I'm playing with you, Dwight. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good.
Good.
Doing good.
Nice to see you.
Thank you. One of the things that this unconscious nature uses a weapon when I'm observing sometimes is he said, oh, the observer is the observed. And that really throws a kink in things. It's like, can you explain that a little bit more? Because that just seems like if the observer is the observed, am I that unconscious nature as well? Or what? Help me out there.
Well, that's a simple, short question, and I should be able to answer that in a couple hours, Dwight. So grab yourself a beer and let's go. Dwight, the mind that wants to think about something along those lines will never understand it. You can't see and think at the same time. Thinking by its nature produces someone who is doing the thinking and something they are thinking about. Can you see that?
Yes, and I see that clearly.
Just listen for a minute.
Okay.
So I'm thinking about this observer. If I'm thinking about this observer, or I'm thinking about what's observed, can either one of those exist as long as that nature how do I say? Can the thinker understand that it is not separate from what it is thinking about as long as it's thinking about it? Or is its identity derived from thinking about what it's thinking about? And the answer is, it's deriving a sense of self by holding in its attention the object of the thinker, those thoughts. Now, change the idea of thinker and thought to observer and observed. As long as I'm trying to see one or the other, I'm trying to see myself as the observer, but darn, I don't get this observed thing. And then I'm trying to look at what I'm looking at, but then I can't understand that it doesn't exist without an observer until I'm capable, Dwight, of seeing both of these things at once, which thought can't do. I will never understand the relationship between observer and observed. You've been studying with me long enough to know that koan, if a tree falls in the woods and no one's there to hear it, doesn't make a sound. That means that without the ear, there's no sound. That means without the observer, there's nothing to observe. Without the awareness, there's nothing to be aware of. They are a singularity. Thinker and thought are a singularity that the thinker doesn't believe is true. It believes it is what it's thinking about, meaning that what it's thinking about is other than itself. That's what it sees, that's how it experiences life. So we look out at a moment we don't want, and instead of realizing the moment we don't want can't be separated from the nature creating that experience, That nature divides itself up into what it doesn't want and the one that doesn't want it. And then the one that doesn't want it figures out what it has to do later so it's not experiencing itself. And it's a fool's game because they're a singularity. Does that shed any light on it, Dwight?
Yes, and
Yes.
I get the point about observing the duality of the two things and then dropping, this thing. But I don't, when it says the thinker, the observer is the observed, that really.
I get it. I'm gonna help. I got another way for you I got another way to help you.
Okay.
And I know that you've had this. Have you ever been in the middle of a conversation or sitting at home, whatever it is, and suddenly you see something about yourself and it shocks your socks off? You ever had your have you ever had your socks knocked off? Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Now think about that with me for a second. I see something about myself that's shocking. Now, I've never seen that before, which means the me that's shocked is, for a split second, not separate from what is shocking it. Suddenly there is the self and the shock, and I can see they've always been separate. Now I realize they're not separate at all. What's shocking me is not separate from the nature that's shocked by it. Can you see that? What's shocking me is not separate from the nature that is shocked by that. That means that the observed, what is shocking me, and the observer, the self that feels shocked, they're a singularity. Now, to see that, Dwight, means there is something that is yet not just the observed and not just the observer, but an overrounding awareness of them as being one and the same thing. They're not opposites. There's not the thing that shocked me and me that was shocked. This thing occurred at the same time and I see it at the same time. That awareness is what it means that the observer and the observed are a singularity. Because now I know I'm not this shocking nature and I'm not this nature that's shocked. I've been blind to their relationship. Now I see it entirely, and that's where your work begins.
Yeah, that helps. Yes, that helps.
Good. That's all we want to do. Just gain a little foothold, little toehold on this mountain, right? All right, bud.
Yes.
Good to see you, Dwight.
Good to see you.
You are as handsome as ever. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Goodbye. And goodbye, everybody.